G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Let's go. My boyfriend is going to cry, and I don't feel bad about it. In fact, I'm excited. I have been with my boyfriend for a little over 3 years now. I don't even think there are words to describe how I feel about him. My life changed in an unimaginable way when he entered it. There is no one on the planet that could ever make me feel the love that I feel when I look at him. I never thought that I would find someone who treats me this way or thinks that I even deserved a partner like him. He never fails to remind me that he thinks about, loves, and adores me. The other day, he made a passing comment that any experience he has ever had is always so much better if my presence is there. So, my boyfriend is a huge fan of Legos, like massive. He always buys smaller sets from Target and builds them in his free time to relax. Anytime we go to the mall, he always wants to walk around the Lego store just to marvel at the big sets. He can afford them, but he's the type not to spend money on himself. Every time we go in, I always catch him staring at the Star Wars Cantina set. He always talks about how one day he'll muster up the courage to put the $400 down and just fulfill his dream. But he won't have to do that. I just ordered it off the Legos website. Because I spent more than $150, I get a small Santa set. So what my plan is, I'm just going to gift him the Santa set, and when we are alone, I'm going to surprise him with the Cantina. He has done so much for me this year, and I can't imagine not giving this to him. So yeah, he's going to cry, but I'm excited about it, and thank you for listening. In the comments, I love that you encourage his hobby instead of calling it childish. Keep that man. And OP replies, of course. He is a very creative person, and it would be beyond cruel of me not to nourish and love that. It is one of my favorite things about him. Sometimes he'll get a set for himself and a set with 2 characters just so that we can build together because it makes him happy. My boyfriend is the same. He kinda likes the small sets, but he loves the big sets where the parts can move. I wish I had the money to do so. He has improved my life in so many ways, and he is always so supportive. We've been together for 6 months, but I just know that I want to spend my life with him. We are both studying and saving up for a semester abroad, so none of us could spend the money. Your story gives me hope to one day surprise him like that. I did, however, give him a trip to Legoland for his birthday, and he was very happy. And OP replies, I promise you, you will be able to. I always felt guilty because I'm the broke college student and won't make the money that he does for a while, if ever. His field is extremely lucrative. Because I'm planning to get my doctorate, so I'll still be in school for a while, and he's the one who is already working full-time and makes really good money, so he's always getting me stuff even though I tell him not to. But all this is to say that I think sometimes, when you're broke, doing things like this, getting him the Lego set, and doing something like you, taking him to Legoland, means a lot. It shows that no matter how broke we are, their happiness is priceless, and we would do anything to make them feel it. Before he got a well-paying job and was flat broke applying for jobs after he graduated, he still attempted to make me feel special with the little he had. We will always do that for each other no matter how rich or poor. And now, on to the update. Hi all, sorry for not updating sooner. I know at least one of you was interested in one, but I wanted to enjoy the time with my boyfriend. One small thing to mention before getting into the update is that I ended up going back to the Lego store and buying the Boba Fett throne room to match the Cantina because I knew he wanted it, and well, why not? If some are interested, I may even post updates as he builds it. He already completed the Boba Fett throne room and has started the Cantina set. So, on to the updates. We did our normal gift giving with the family, and I ended up putting the throne room under the tree, which he lost his crap when he opened it because he's been talking about that set for a while. After everyone settled down after gift giving and started to eat and to watch Christmas movies, I asked him if he could help me to do something upstairs quickly. When we got upstairs, I told him I'd forgotten to put something under the tree, and when I pulled out the box from under the bed, he looked confused but started to unwrap it slowly. When he had pulled the paper back and saw the words, Mos Eisley Cantina, I don't know how to say that, he stopped moving for a few seconds because I don't think his brain was even fully registering what was in front of him at the time. His eyes started watering slightly, and he kept saying things like, no way, before he started grinning and tearing all the paper away. He started hugging me and kept asking why I would spend so much money on him, and I told him that it was because I loved him and wanted him to be happy. He went through a mixture of jumping in excitement, hugging me, and crying for a few minutes. He kept talking about his plans to clear out the shelf behind him and put it on display in his work background. He then ended up surprising me by saying that he has also not put something under the tree because he wanted to have it be an intimate moment between the two of us. He went into the closet and was laughing about how he had put it on the top shelf because he knew that I wouldn't be able to reach it or see it, as I'm very short. When he came out, he was holding a tiny box, and when I opened it, there was a beautiful diamond necklace inside, which obviously made me cry like a baby. After he put it on me, we shared a nice moment together, kissing and hugging. I told him that I purposely saved the points I got from buying the sets so that he could get $50 off his next Lego set. He told me that he wanted to get me a set so he could spend the duration of building his set while I also built a set next to him. He has always really cherished building a set with me or building one at the same time as me. So over the weekend, we went to the Lego store, and despite me saying I was happy with a smaller set that I would build slowly so I wouldn't finish before him, because I felt bad since he bought me a literal diamond necklace, he insisted on getting me a big one and bought me the Bowser because he knows that it's one of my favorite characters. We had a great Christmas and have been having lots of fun having designated building time together. Thank you for all the sweet comments, and I hope you all have a wonderful holiday as well. In the comments, my husband and I have been building Lego sets together for over 10 years. We joke that he proposed to me on the top of a Ferris wheel, but it was the Lego Ferris wheel. We built it together, and the ring was in the pieces. I was too enthralled with the building that I completely overlooked it, so he put it in one of the seats, and I found it while we were playing with it after. My husband also proposed to me via Legos. He knows that I love Legos and Lord of the Rings, so he bought the Helm's Deep set for me and hid the ring in a box for the Lego guy's capes and photoshopped me putting a ring on my finger in the Lego book as instructions. I don't think that I've ever happy cried so hard. Our next post is titled, Am I the a-hole for wanting hot food? So yesterday I went ice skating with my girlfriend. Tuesday is one of her days for dinner, so she made chicken salad. When I saw the chicken salad, I admit I made a face. She was like, "What? What's the problem?" I said that we were outside in the cold all afternoon, and I wasn't really in the mood for cold food. She said that we were inside, the heat is set to 74 degrees, and we were both wearing warm, dry clothes, so it was plenty warm enough to eat salad. I said sure, but I just wanted something warm to heat me up on the inside. And she said that that was ridiculous, because my internal temperature is in the 90s and my insides are plenty hot. At this point, we were going in circles, so I said that I was just going to heat up some soup and told her to go ahead and start eating, and I'd be back in a few minutes. When I came out of the kitchen with my soup, she was clearly upset, and she asked how I would feel if she refused to eat what I made tomorrow, which is today. I said I won't care, and she said that that was BS, because it's rude to turn your nose up at something that someone made for you. Was I the butthole for not wanting cold salad after being cold all day? In the comments, why didn't you make soup to go with your chicken salad? Why make a face? Making a face at something is pretty effing rude. You're the a-hole. You are not an a-hole because you didn't want to eat it. You're the a-hole because of the way that you handled it. Right? Geez, babe, this looks great. That can of tomato soup you have would go great with it. I'm gonna heat it up. Would you like a bowl? It's not like OP had to cook it from scratch or have it delivered. Soup and sandwich is a pretty popular combo. It doesn't even have to be that indirect. I'm going to pair some soup with this to help me warm up is direct, easy, and not dismissive and thoughtless like making a face is. Learn how to communicate like an adult instead of a child, OP. So much this. OP isn't a butthole for wanting the soup, he's the butthole for making it an issue instead of simply talking to his wife without adding something. It's funny how reading about an event after it occurs makes people think they would have come up with the perfect diplomatic wording before the conflict ever occurred to them. Nope, I would have come up with it before because I care a lot about my relationship and have put a lot of practice and research into learning how to communicate constructively. Relationships are a skill-based activity, and you can learn how to be better at them if you give half a crap. What kind of face do you believe OP made? A disgusted face? An angry face? A crestfallen face? A face that was something besides joyous? How long are you imagining that this face lasted? Because to me, making a face could be anything from an exaggerated sneer to a brief slip of disappointment before restoring the mask. I don't know if you are neurotypical, but maintaining a mask of the acceptable emotions to display can be exhausting. Occasionally, negative emotions slip through, and then many times society and neurotypical people pounce on the person for daring to not maintain their mask perfectly. Add to that people who have faced abuse where showing their true emotions is dangerous, so they're forced to walk on eggshells constantly, which is extremely unhealthy. Your entire argument is based on OP not walking delicately enough in his own home and not stuffing his own emotions down enough to protect his partner's emotions. You are infantilizing the partner here and actively discouraging healthy communication in a relationship. Exactly. Which is why I'm going with not the a-hole. People really enjoy extrapolating the most out of low-stakes, lizard brain reactions, and this is a good example of a non-issue. OP doesn't need to work on anything. Why does this sub like to encourage doing the most? It's annoying. There are so many you're the a-hole, but I mean, no. You didn't ask her to cook you something else, you made it for yourself. Not the a-hole. It sounds like you guys cook together often enough that wanting something different than the other for a meal shouldn't be a big deal. If my husband doesn't want what I make him, he makes something else. That's normal. The you're the a-holes are for making a face and generally being unappreciative when it would have been so easy to say, thank you for dinner, and also, I'm feeling chilled, so I'm going to heat myself up some soup to sip on. If he had said that and she got mad, then she would be the a-hole. I just feel like when people are in a relationship, they are more open with each other, hence the reaction. Yes, it's kind of rude, but there's nothing wrong with being disappointed with a certain dish that he wasn't in the mood for. Sometimes when I cook for my family and it was just something that they ate, they're most probably going to be a little disappointed since they just had it. And now, on to the update. No longer cooking for my girlfriend. Wednesday, after I served the plates, my girlfriend said she didn't want pasta and was going to make a salad. I was pretty sure she was going to do this, and it didn't bother me. I waited for her to come back to start eating, and when she sat down, I tried to talk to her about her day. She asked if I was trying to make a point, and I asked what she meant. She asked if I cared that she wasn't going to eat what I made. I said that I didn't, and would have it for lunch. She got frustrated, focused on her salad, and just wouldn't engage with me. After dinner, I said that we shouldn't make dinner for each other anymore. She asked why I thought that, and I said that it's clear that she gets upset when she makes food for someone and they don't eat it, and it would be better for us just to make separate meals so we each know that we will get what we want and no one's feelings would be hurt. She said it wasn't okay for me to make a unilateral decision about our relationship. I said that I wasn't, but I didn't want to cook for her anymore or have her cook for me if it was going to make her upset. We kind of went round and round on it until the conversation petered out. She texted me at work Thursday that she was going to make salmon. I decided that if she tried to cook for me, I would just let her so she'd feel like she won one over me and we'd draw a line under this. She ended up making salmon only for herself, which I was surprised by because I was expecting her to try to convince me to have some. I made myself a quick omelette and I sat down with her. She then asked if I was upset that she didn't cook for me, and I said no. Again, she accused me of making a point. She asked if I was going to cook for her on Friday, and I said no, and she was put out. Friday, she was upset that I made only enough curry for one person and called me greedy. At this point, I'm over it all, so I just ignored her. In the comments, "This is stupid, man. Just put your ego aside and hash it out. It is not worth deteriorating a relationship over." I mean, the girlfriend is pretty immature too. She's tried to make him angry on several occasions now rather than just having a conversation. First, she waited until he made a meal, then said she was going to have a salad, and when he didn't get upset, she flat out asked him if it annoyed him that she didn't want the food that he made. Then she texted him that she's making salmon, implying that she'll be cooking dinner, but then only makes it for herself, and again she asks if it upset him. She is just as much an a-hole as him. I don't see how this relationship will last. I don't get why he got voted the a-hole on the first post. Maybe making a face was too much, but he made what he craved himself, and she ate the dinner that she made. I don't understand her over-the-top reaction afterwards. If it was something that kept happening, I get it, but once in a while, you're allowed to crave something else from what's on the table. Just make it, and the rest is leftovers that they both can have later. The salmon thing was petty and kinda stupid. Like if you have a stocked fridge and pantry and a set of hands, it's not rocket science to scramble a dinner in 15 minutes. I don't understand what she was trying to prove. She's hurt because he didn't understand why she felt rejected, so she wants to show him how it feels. And she doesn't believe that he doesn't care. He needs to sit down with her and tell her that he really does not care, and she can't expect him to read her mind. But that he does care whether she is hurt, which is why they need to discuss food choices. Quote, so she wants to show him how it feels. It really is the crappy, immature way to communicate. Hey, what you did really sucked and hurt my feelings. Can you try to see from my perspective why it looks that way? But that takes vulnerability. Punishing your partner is more emotionally satisfying if you are immature and just want to win an argument. You can stick to your guns. You'll lose the relationship, but if it's really worth it to you, keep doing what you're doing. But you do realize that this isn't about the food at all, right? You hurt her feelings, and you showed zero remorse. She's trying to repeat your actions to you so that you can empathize with where she is coming from. Instead, you're choosing to go out of your way to keep making separate meals so you can pretend those feelings weren't valid. And you were rude. You should have apologized. Couples share meals. Maybe not every meal, but most when they're in the same location. So you can keep stubbornly making separate meals, which is obviously not what she wants, but you won't stay a couple. Mostly because it emphasizes on a daily basis how little you care about her feelings. But hey, you do you. So you're saying that when you have your feelings hurt, the legitimate course of action in your mind is to repeatedly try and hurt someone else so they can empathize with you? That's kind of messed up. No, it's not the best way to handle the situation at all, but it's what she's doing. But since she's not the one on here asking for advice, I'll give it to this guy. They've got to communicate, and it should start with his apology. Our next post is titled, My Wife is Dead. The best Christmas present I could have gotten. At the beginning of 2022, I caught my wife having an affair with one of her exes. Our marriage wasn't perfect. I was not the perfect husband, I will admit, but I did my best. I put effort into the entire 5 years we were together. I put my all into the relationship. For her, I could not say the same. I was forced to confront the reality of who she truly was shortly after I caught her. She illegally evicted me from our shared home, lied to the police to try and get me arrested, tried to get me fired from my job, and tried to turn all of my friends against me. Some of these succeeded, while others did not. She has made my life a living hell since the day I asked her for a divorce and has planted her heels into the ground over our separation to try and drain all my finances and emotional strength from me. The only upside is we have no kids for her to use as weapons, but I soon found out that her policy of strict birth control with me did not extend to her suitor as he got her pregnant 5 months ago. I thought maybe this would help speed along the divorce, but it only rallied her in her efforts to destroy me. On Christmas Eve, my wife and her suitor went to a party where both of them got drunk. I find this fact terrible as all her friends knew that she was pregnant as well. Her suitor drove them home, a mistake that would cost them both their lives. In the state that I live in, our divorce is now considered to never have even started. I will be able to claim her life insurance policy for myself and move back into my home. Her parents called me up distraught yesterday, acting as if last year never had happened, and offered their full support to my funeral preparations for her. My confusion here was beyond belief, but the apple doesn't fall far from the tree when it comes to my wife. I told them that if they want a funeral, it was coming out of their pockets. I will pay for her to be cremated and deliver her ashes to them in the cheapest urn offered if they desire. They called me horrible and tried to guilt me about her life insurance, but after only 4 minutes on the phone with them, I hung up and blocked every one of her family's numbers. I'm going to be taking a few extra days off work to move into my house over the next week. I've already made arrangements to have her stuff hauled off, so my home will be an empty canvas to start my life anew. I don't know if there is a God or if this was just karma, but I truly believe now that I have come out on the other side of the storm. In the comments, make sure to block all her scumbag friends as well. Have her crap delivered to her parents' house, and then live well. Sue the guy's car insurance for loss of life. More cha-ching for your pain and suffering. Correct, and if they are still in the same auto policy, his own UIM coverage will be writing him a check. Just don't lie and pretend you have huge pain and suffering. Remember, pigs get fat, but hogs get slaughtered. I really hope that they were the only ones involved in the car accident. Selfish assholes, it sounds like. OP replies, I won't elaborate any further, but they were the only lives taken. Their own families will be the only ones affected beyond a simple car repair bill, thankfully. You know, I'd sell the house and move away, just as a safety measure. Don't let your guard down, because her family may try something. OP, in the event that she gave her parents the keys, change the locks on the house. OP says, her family is many things I despised. Cowards are the main theme. I already changed the locks on the house, and the chances of them trying much is not high in my opinion. I'm keeping my eye out though, and setting up cameras around the property tomorrow. I only wish to sleep in my home right now. I only want to wake up in the house that I was kicked out of. Selling the house will be a choice that I make once I do that. Damn bro, lucky you. Enjoy the new chapter. And OP says, thank you friend. I would suggest you send her things to her parents' home instead of just hauling them off. It would be kind to leave grieving family with the things that belonged to her. I suggest this not because they are good or deserving people, but because you want to start your new life out on the best foot possible by doing a good thing. You're getting rid of them anyway. OP replies, you're right. I don't like them, but they do deserve her things if they want them. I'll unblock her mum and offer to make arrangements to deliver her stuff wherever she wants. If she wants it all or only certain things, I'll eat the cost and deliver it to her. I'm already paying to have it hauled and trashed, so no point in caring where it goes. You might just want to tell the mum when the stuff will be delivered rather than letting her set the schedule. The latter just gives her one more potential way to F with you. Her daughter died. Let her have her belongings. They are still people. Just because you were cheated on doesn't make you free of being an awful person as well. And now, onto the update. I have decided to elaborate on a few common threads that I see in this post here, as responding to all the comments would be too much. Firstly, some are judging me for the way that I'm reacting to the death of 3 people. You're right, it is not normal, nor is it healthy. I feel no emotions towards my ex at this moment. All my hatred, resentment, and regret evaporated when I learned of her death. I feel nothing but relief right now. This void has slowly consumed me over the past few days. I feel numb, like I'm dreaming, like what happened is not real. This woman made my life a living hell for over a year. She set out to destroy me and would not stop until she did. I do not like the fact that I feel this way over the death of 3 people, but that's not a box that I feel ready to unpack at this moment. Secondly, I have reached out to my ex's mum today, and things are much more civil as of now. I'll pay the hauling company to move her stuff into one of their storage units, and they can figure out the rest. Her mother revealed to me that they cannot afford to host a funeral for my ex. I am 100% the legal beneficiary of her life insurance. Despite my past hatred for her family, I told her mother I will give them a small amount from her life insurance so they can have a service and arrange burial logistics for her. This is contingent on us cutting ties after, and I will not be involved any further in her funeral. I will still be talking to a lawyer. Lastly, I am not going to elaborate further except the only lives lost was hers, her suitor, and their unborn child. Some are saying that I should sell the house. Right now, I only want to return to my home. The details of where I end up, either there or somewhere else over the rainbow, are yet to be determined. I do not know what life holds for me, or for any of us. This event happened, maybe for a reason, or maybe the universe has no logic at all. This gift put an end to a period of my life that sent me to the brink of destruction. It's morbid to think that the death of 3 people was what pulled me to the other side alive. It's interesting how quick it can all change or end. And in the comments, I don't remember why, but I was saying to my friend last night that you don't have to be sad that someone has died. If someone is making your life terrible, you're allowed to be relieved when they can't do that anymore. I don't know why he was attacked for not feeling grief or sadness. There are some people who are so cruel to you that you just simply cannot care anymore. OP wasn't jumping around in joy that the cheating wife is no more, just felt like a weight has been lifted from his shoulder. Ideally, you feel incredible pain when you lose a loved one, but this was not the situation. The reality is that this guy surely mourned the wife that he once knew before she ever died. There is little left for him to grieve over at this point. Exactly. As I noted in another post, it's almost like losing an elderly person to dementia. Yes, bad analogy, but hear me out. They slowly fade. The person you knew is gone. You grieve along the way. Your grief is real, it's just not all at once. OP already grieved for his wife, the person that he loved and married was already gone to him. He had been through that grief, and was now simply just suffering due to her existence. As someone who has been harassed excessively and had my life turned to hell for more than 7 years, I completely understand his feelings here. I would rejoice if this person died, no joke. I know it's horrible, perhaps morally corrupt to feel like that about another human being, but damn, the relief of finally being free from them would be all overshadowing. Sure, OP should see a therapist, definitely, but there is nothing abnormal about his reaction. When my husband gingerly approached me to tell me my abuser had died, my first reaction was to throw my hands up and yell, "Thank fudging God." That's the only thing I've thanked him for in a long while. That night was the most free that I felt in a long time. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it never did. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.